Hey guys, so welcome back to Tip Talks 22. Y'all, when I tell you the energy surrounding me and what it is that I want to do as far as readings or what I'm drawn to as far as readings has been wild. Hopefully, based on what I'm seeing after I do this reading, this will clear up a lot for me. Okay, so there is a young lady um, by the name of Ada Thompson who disappeared kind of locally to me, right? She was from Princeton, Texas. Princeton is like an hour north of Dallas. So it's an hour north of Dallas. She disappeared September 5th, which was a couple days before that last eclipse that we had. If you guys know my channel or follow me, you know that I have been saying for a while, and I say it all the time, that those full moons, honey, heighten emotions. They bring things from the subconscious to the surface, right? So, and oftentimes, especially if you are kind of grounded or rooted, or if you're not at the time, um, things can come up for you that create like emotional. I don't want to say imbalance, but there's definitely some of that here. But it's just like your emotions and things that your feelings or things that you may have tried to suppress or you've tried to ignore or repress for some time kind of tend to come up around full moons. And this one was a full moon eclipse, so that suggests that something that has been um, kind of pushed down is going to come to the surface so that it can be released, let go of, or removed, right? I need some water. Hold on. So, Ada Thompson disappeared. Let me tell you what I know based on the very little information we've seen publicly about her disappearance. Now, it was being said that Ada Thompson disappeared from Dallas at 3 a.m. in the morning. Then it turns out her husband says that she left their home around 3 a.m., right? This was like Friday morning. That's an hour difference, like, because it takes an hour to get to Dallas. So I don't know if she actually disappeared from Princeton or Dallas, but allegedly she was heading to work. Even if you have to be at work at 5 in the morning, I don't know how many people have to be at work at 4 a.m., but at 5 in the morning, 3 o'clock is a little early to be leaving, right? So I feel like just in that she had another stop to make. She had somewhere to go or was doing something else, right? 3 o'clock is early to leave in the morning at that time, right? That is most definitely the witching hour. Still, anyway, so she disappeared that morning. I'm not sure, but I feel like she was reported missing that same day because apparently she was supposed to be reporting to work and she never showed up for work. Um, and people have made it a point to say a good job too. They're not saying what she did or what her job was, but it was a good job. That right there is odd in itself. Like, but I think it's connected to how she lived, how she was living her life. But her car, her car was found abandoned in Tyler, Texas, which Tyler from here is about an hour 45 minutes, right? Not quite 2 hours, but it's like southeast of Dallas. So, well, I'm gonna flip this screen. So southeast of Dallas. So say this is Dallas. Tyler's over here, and then where she came from, Princeton is up here. So her car ended up in Tyler. Um, yeah, and that's all we know. Okay, basically that's all we know. What I am seeing is that this is someone, Ada. I've seen basically, like, I see a lot of people in the energy of like this is a religious family, right? Um, this is a quote unquote God fearing family, and you know we love that. That's all fine and good. However, sometimes we can be so stuck to religion that we tend to either suppress our truths or we try to like live our lives in a way that fits a mold. And what I'm seeing and feeling is that the public perception was not matching what she had going on either within herself or behind the scenes. I'm gonna say it like that. So let me just show you what it is that I got. Okay, the fact that I think her husband posted, he posted on the 15th because it was my son's birthday. He posted on the 15th that he just got a letter in the mail from the tow company. I'm looking at the calendar. But he got a letter in the mail from the tow company that the car had been towed from Tyler. Um, so I guess he got that letter on Monday, which would be about a week later after it had been towed. The car was towed at 7:15 a.m. in the morning. They said because it was abandoned. It was towed from an RV park from the time that she left her home at 3 a.m. to 7:15, and it takes you to get from Princeton to Tyler, it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It takes a little while to get to that city. So say she showed up there around 5, then her car was only there for 2 hours and 15 minutes before they deemed it abandoned and towed it away. Odd in itself, right? So maybe somebody reported that somebody left their car here, and whatever the case. Either way, just an odd time frame all the way around. And so I had been pulling cards about this. When I initially posted about this reading on Facebook, I had a different spread laid out. At the heart of it was the house. The unpleasant fact was about a main male, right? But I let those cards sit up for a little while. So today when I reapproached this reading, Spirit was like, start over, start from scratch. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I did. But as you can see, there's no real like spread laid out. So if you are a person that bothers, sorry for ya. In this particular instance, right? I'm usually a person that it bothers, but because I'm like all in my mind and really trying to get an understanding here, it's not bothering me at all. So this first row up here, I'm using different decks that I don't normally use. I use the Cosmic Tarot deck just because like I don't use this very frequently, but if I do like true crimes cases, I use that deck because it kind of feels dark to me. But that's another thing. I was focusing on her energy, on her photo, and I wasn't getting deceased. I'm not getting deceased. Matter of fact, Spirit told me before I started this recording, before I pressed record, that she is in Texas. She is here somewhere, right? There's an energy of hiding out. Definitely an energy of escapism, right? So what I asked was, what were you feeling the day of your disappearance? And we have this energy of passion around expansion, right? So for me, that expansion is giving like awakening type of energy. And awakening is just like spiritual growth or growth in a way that has you seeing something that maybe you've long thought or believed or felt completely differently, right? And when this happens, especially if you go from being religious to having like this newfound spiritual insider understanding, it can really be rattling, and to other people that may look like, you going crazy or losing your mind or something like that, but it's really more often than not just an expanded view of things, right? But this is something that she was either passionate about or had a strong desire around, right? And the next, this is going crazy. The next card out is Perfection in Reverse. This particular card, guys, is usually about someone who is like either a perfectionist or has an attachment to images or to their image or appearance or what people think of them, but it's in reverse, right? So I feel like maybe she had a fear of, we have the rejection card here, a fear of rejection or a fear of, or concern about a newly awakened belief or ideology being rejected for it or not accepted or whatever the case, right? But then we have this card of release. It's a card of grief, of sadness, of emotional relief. Remember we talked about the emotions coming to the surface here. Something coming to the surface that is being let go of or needs to be let go of, right? And this is something that, again, that was subconscious. So it's not something she was talking about. It's not something that she was telling a lot of people about. And it also, for me, this entire thing just suggests that she had a choice or decision to make that was kind of difficult for her. But there's an energy here of like, nope, I'm going to have to do something bold and make this choice, this bold decision here, and to take this bold action. So that's what this is. I also feel like we have this insecurity here. This in traditional tarot would be like that devil card. It's a card of temptation, right? It can be also a card that suggests, you see how he has his heart kind of crossed, but his heart is outside of his crossed arms, right? So this is someone who may be struggling with a choice. It can also be a card, let me just keep it real, of temptation, of fear, of maybe too codependency, addiction even. So yeah, we'll do with that what you will. I decided in giving this reading that I was not going to say or give too much of my opinion, just because I feel like it is so all over the place. And Spirit was like, no, this is true and that is true, right? But I kind of want to just tell you what the cards mean and allow you to draw your own conclusions here. So I feel like there's something that she was tempted to step outside of her attachment to image or appearances to do. I do feel like she may have feared either judgment, like I said, or rejection if she had just chosen to follow her heart or to make the choice that she ultimately made. And so I feel like there was something here that was kind of concocted to make things look a certain way. Okay. The next card out is the victim card here with this impartiality. So in this particular deck, this victim card is not about being victimized, right? It is a card that says you're not a victim when you knowingly walk into a situation, or you knowingly allow yourself to be or stay in a situation, and you don't do something to change the dynamic or to remove yourself from said situation, right? It's like you're not being manipulated, you're not being taken advantage of if you know that this is the case and you choose to stay, right? So here we also have this card, impartiality. And I'm looking at the buckets that this young lady's carrying in this card, right? One of them says pain or paint. Oh, they both say paint. They both say paint. They appear to be kind of half full and tilted, right? So I thought this was interesting because in this particular deck, right, those cards are from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck. This particular deck, that card, impartiality, is really about taking a step back, right, and allowing people to draw their own conclusions. Okay? Allowing people to draw their own conclusions connected to this victim energy. And then, lastly, we have the card renewal, right? An energy of grounding, an energy of just a renewed sense of life force within you. I'm trying to speak this reading in a way that most people would understand, but there definitely seems to be like quite a bit of spiritual undertone to this reading, but at the same time, I feel like it's connected to a third party, right? I'm gonna get into it. But yeah, the renewal card is like also the energy of awakening to a new life, right? After you've made this bold choice to break away from your attachment to perfection or images, facing any insecurities, even though there have been some grief or some challenges with releasing this, it's like a sense of relief connected to making that choice or decision, right? So my next question, my next question using that same deck, what Google sees, was, so where is she now, right? Y'all, when I tell you, this deck did not stutter. It wasn't no multiple cards coming out. When I tell you this came out quickly and by itself, isolation, it suggests for me an energy of not being alone, but being secluded, being in a hidden space, right? Being content with what it is that you have, wherever it is that you are. Followed by this energy of vanity and mysticism. The vanity card is just about, especially with mysticism, like looking outside of yourself for validation, right? But that mysticism carries a energy of the unknown, maybe to the paranormal. But also, when I say the unknown, it's like the energy of being, I don't want to say pulled into something, because this was like a willingly, something she went toward willingly. So there's an energy here of like, okay, either I don't know what the outcome is, or she may not even know where she is. But also understanding that I don't really care, or I don't need to know. I know that I'm good. I know that I'm okay, wherever it is that I am, right? Feeling balanced. Feeling balanced, with that being the next card out, the balance card. Feeling balanced even though there may have been like a reluctance to move into this change, or some type of hesitancy because of like the past. This is like moving into a new start or a new beginning slowly. But as you can see, and I think she has daughters. I know she's got I want to say 2 daughters at least. I know at least one, and a husband. But I'm just noticing there are 2 females and a male here on this card. And then the male holding the scales of balance there. But those people at the bottom, they look unhappy. Right? Let me show you this card. They look unhappy. But this person up here is like, I'm fine with this, right? I'm fine with the way this is playing out. But here they are trying to understand what's happening, right? And then lastly, the card that came out when I asked about where is she now, we have the recovery card. So the recovery card is all about growing into a new partnership, taking a step back and just really opening yourself up to healing. This could feel like divine healing, right? So when I say there's a spiritual undertone to it, I feel like whatever this is, she felt like a divine call or pull to make the decision that she made to, it really feels like abandoned ship, y'all. It really feels like that. And I don't want to sound like I'm being insensitive, but that's what this looks like. This looks like someone got tired of playing a role and was like, you know what, it's now or never. And it looks like there is an outside party that's connected to this that may have been telling or feeding her something, or this could be some conclusion she came to on her own, whatever the case, because there's definitely an energy of manipulation surrounding it. And I say manipulation, I mean where she may have been feeling like a conflict, and then someone's like, no, you should leave, you should, right? It's that type of energy. But this woman, like I said, a young lady, I think she's 45 though. Like, this is an adult. She might not be that old, but I think she's an adult. Like, she's very much so an adult. Okay. So this was still ultimately her choice. However, it's like the person that is the masculine energy on the other side of this whole situation is kind of in a power of dominance. They are telling her something. It's kind of like in a way to be in control, or because they can control her. Does that make sense? It almost feels like psychological abuse, or psychological, not almost, that's what it feels like. Psychological abuse or manipulation of some sort. But it's like, is it abuse if you are an adult, right? And you have the capacity to make your own choices and decisions. But I feel like when people see this energy in you and they continue to use that to get something or to sway you to make a choice that you like normally wouldn't make, if they see that you are in an unstable place mentally, then yeah, it becomes abuse and it becomes manipulation. Okay? So that's really what it feels like at this point. I feel like there is a desire to move into something else, or to explore something different or something new, and to make a choice about it. This card, guys, the Lover's card here, I feel like as well someone was given the Lover's card. It can be, and often is, about a romantic partnership, but it can also be about needing to choose or make a decision between maybe the world and your connection to the divine, right? Instant gratification versus what's best, what's for my highest good, right? My spiritual good, right? So there's an, ooh, wait, Spirit said say that. Okay. So there's an energy here with this Empress and the Queen of Swords of seeing or accepting something here. Yeah, and that may be that it is time to go or time to move forward. And also, like, this is something where this person either feels divinely guided to do that. And I don't mean by somebody, I mean by God, source, the divine. Divinely guided to move forward or to follow this path. Or this is at least her interpretation of it, right? However, the way that she is interpreting whatever this is, this either this sign, this message, or this information that she's getting, she's not processing it correctly. So it's kind of like feeling like you're getting this spiritual message from God being delivered through a messenger, a person. And it's like, baby, that ain't even your message. Or what you think this means is not being interpreted correctly. So you are misconstruing the meaning, but you're taking action based on like surface level what you hear or what this person's interpretation of it is. But it's something that's done in haste. Yeah, and I also feel like there was, like I said, there was some hesitancy behind it. But then it's like, that's a little intimidating. But you're right, if that's what God wants us to do. It's that type of energy, guys. There, again, an energy of breaking away from, like, tradition. Because I see so many people, and I posted about, not even her particular story, but I posted about this previously, about people saying, this is not like them, or this is not like her. Like, it drives me crazy. I feel like people need to be clear. Like, this is nothing that she would normally do, right? But I feel like the energy that this person was in when she left was not her normal self, right? Was not her normal energy. So, like, this traditional energy, I feel like this is someone having a fresh new start here, maybe too being a little carefree about it, and maybe, I don't want to say not contemplating it, because there's a lot of thought, but it's like not grounded thought. Does that make sense? It's kind of like the energy of a racing mind, maybe to some depression or just mental stress or distress connected to this. But there's like a strong energy too of feeling super connected to God, to source, to the divine. Hold on a minute. And then kind of like the energy of moving into an extreme. So for example, you're doing these, having these thoughts, these subconscious thoughts. You're thinking of these things. You're like, you know what? I don't want to be controlled by image, by appearances anymore. And then so you sell or get rid of everything and go live in the woods, so to speak, or like it's going from one extreme to another that's on the complete opposite end of where you came from. Does that make sense? That's the type of energy that I'm getting from this situation. I do feel like I said, this was intended to make things look, listen, with the car and the vehicle, Goosey's, to make things look like she had fallen victim to foul play. But I don't believe that to be the case. I'm going to be more specific when I show you what I got from my personal deck here. Right? I feel like what is at the root of this is a tempting energy that is also nefarious. Right? This is like someone saying, no, this is our future. This is what our future should be. And her saying, you're right. This is where I wish to be. I want us to be together kind of energy. It's that. So my confusion was like, okay, is this her wanting to be in balance or in sync with God, source, the divine? Or is this her wanting to be in sync with a partner? And I feel like the partner and this ideology are connected. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I was looking, and she could be dealing with someone who is an older gentleman, like either older than her, but she may be looking at this person like they are a guru of some sort, or a spiritual leader or teacher. But this is in reverse. This is, honey, this is that devil card energy. This is someone who's giving you some type of information, but they are not the, Goose is going crazy. They're not the teacher that you believe them to be. And so there's a need for you to see this from a higher perspective, right? That's why, listen, y'all, I tell y'all this, I'm going to tell you now, and I tell y'all all the time. If you are getting any type of spiritual guidance, assistance, advice from anyone from a spiritual standpoint, their goal should be to empower you in a way that you feel divinely connected. I don't want you to rely on me to give you the messages. I'm perfectly fine and okay with being a messenger. But I want you to learn to trust yourself enough that you are able to listen and interpret, because you've strengthened your personal connection to the divine, not because you rely on me and my connection to the divine. Does that make sense? So if ever you encounter a spiritual teacher or leader who is all about, coming through me, that's a cult. Okay? Point blank period. It's a cult. And it's people on the internet who do things that are similar to what I do. And they may not be full-blown cults, right? But if they're not trying to empower you and to encourage you to trust your own spiritual connection over their intuition, it's the makings of a cult. Point blank period. Okay, let me go back to what I was saying. But yeah, that's relevant here because I feel like there's a little bit of that going on. But again, this is connected to a relationship. There is the energy of like someone manipulating something or manipulating a story. And I don't feel these cards right here, this row that I'm pulling from right here, this is her energy. So I feel like this is with the car being left where it was, the leaving at 3 in the morning, the seemingly disappearing into thin air. This was a part of a plan or plot, right, to isolate. Okay? Period. Period. There's nothing else to say about that. Definitely feels like an energy of escaping, confusion, putting certain boundaries in place that will allow her to focus on or to clear her mind. So I don't know what she was going through or dealing with at the house, but let me clarify that confusion, that card of confusion. It could be work, balancing work, family, the desires, this third party, this relationship. A relationship that she may have felt had run its course. That was either deceptive. Yeah. Okay. Some of y'all don't like me. I feel like she was cheating. I feel like she was cheating, dating someone outside of her relationship, and essentially has thrown her life away, or this relationship, her husband relationship away, to adopt this relationship, to pursue this relationship. It's giving sneaky link, but it's giving like, this is what I'm passionate about. This is where I feel guided to go. There's a new opportunity at something better here. But this is also like someone who is disconnected from like their nurturing energy. They may also be disconnected, disconnected from their, the role that they played in their everyday lives, right? As the mother, the caregiver, the nurturer. Yeah. There's an energy of like this marriage. This marriage was over. Or this is someone who didn't want to be in a relationship or marriage. Y'all, I remember I did a missing persons reading for this guy. I believe he was in Chicago or from Chicago. His family was so worked up. Like he just left his wife, his girl, whatever it is. And I'm looking at these cards, y'all, and I'm like, this man is like a state over. And he's with another woman. He didn't want to have to face or tell the person he was leaving that he was actually leaving. Apparently because like he had tried to leave before and things got physical or violent, or just, too much dissension around his choice. So he just disappeared and let them file missing persons reports and all of that. And I was so shocked that I think the reading is still posted. I was so shocked that this person didn't catch more flack than he did, because he did ultimately, I won't say he resurfaced, but the police got in contact with him, and that's exactly what it was, right? He just didn't want to be with this person anymore. But he was too much of a coward to be straight up about it and to walk away without, So he let his mama be worried, all these people be worried. But this feels kind of similar, but she's a female. And there are other aspects at play here, like the mental well-being or mental imbalance, and the spiritual aspect where she feels like God wants her to go this way, to travel this way, to pursue these opportunities, to have a specific future. Like this feels like a spiritual awakening, where someone may be having a spiritual awakening but not understanding what's happening. And it is my personal belief that oftentimes when that happens, it may look like schizophrenia, it may look like bipolar, it may look like, a breakdown of some sort, right? But oftentimes I feel like this is people being faced with either new spiritual gifts, which that's not what I see, new spiritual gifts or new spiritual understandings, and them not understanding it because it's completely different from what it is they've been indoctrinated to believe happens, right? So it can be spooky, it can be concerning, confusing, all the things. So pulling from this other deck, Y'all, I'm telling you, listen. We have this masculine energy, this King of Wands, which can be a person, place, or thing. That King of Wands, though, can also be like having the courage and confidence to take a bold action towards what? Towards the sun, towards this energy of happiness and fulfillment here. This spiritual awakening, this energy of secrecy connected to the Queen. So the Queen and the King of Wands here. But with the Moon card, something is hidden, something is not as it seems, and there's this secrecy attached to the Queen, right? So then we have here the Knight of Wands with the Tower. So this energy, this Knight of Wands, can often be impulsive or inconsistent behaviors, or something that may have been like a temporary fleeting passion, or whatever the case. With the Tower, there's a change to that energy where it's not fleeting. It's no longer inconsistent. Because why? Because it's undergone this massive shift or this sudden change that leaves you in this Ten of Cups space of contentment, right? Even if there's a little regret or remorse connected to this space where you are happy, you are content. Even though it's kind of like, okay, I'm not happy that we had to blow up the park, but in order to build a new house here, blowing up the park was part of it. It's that type of energy. But the result, the end of this, is the Six of Swords and the Ten of Swords. The Six of Swords in this particular deck, of course, we already saw the Six of Swords, but it's like feeling like, okay, I'm moving on past the conflict, past any confusion, past this energy of change into a more balanced space, because you've gotten past like the change or shift in your way of thinking here. And it's like, okay, now from a mental standpoint, my orientation has shifted. And it may have shifted to this Ten of Swords energy, which could be just mental chaos, guys. Mental discord. Could be the end of a cycle with it being a 10. Kind of like the lowest point mentally. It's like the point of a mental break. Or just like extreme confusion, right? Let me get some water real quick. So, here we have this Ace of Swords, this new mentality, this new mindset that you've adopted here. And this Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, you see the couple, right? Is this new pairing, this new partnership. I'm feeling a union, maybe a strong link. But then we have the Death card. So we have the Two of Cups with the Death card. Then the Princess and the Prince of Cups. Y'all, I feel like this is one partnership that has ended while another one is created. And this is that Nine of Cups energy, a wish fulfilled, right? Someone feeling happier, feeling like at an advantage. But all of these cards of emotion. So the Star card suggests an energy of healing, of things improving, right? Being optimistic about what's about to take place or what's coming. Feeling inspired, like a renewed sense of hope. But look what's right behind it. This Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups suggests that, you see how he's looking all sad? You've left something behind. He's got there's a boat wrecked sitting behind this man, right? So there's something that's been given up to move into this new way of being. There's something that's been given up that's like damaged, a damage that's left in the wake of things. Because here we are in this hermit mode, this energy of hiding. Okay? And the Hermit is just that. It's an energy of secrecy. It's an energy of hiding. Definitely not speaking, not making contact. Y'all hear my throat keep doing what it's doing throughout this reading. But the Hermit definitely carries the energy of seclusion. Solitude, distance. Sometimes someone who is like clever with their hideout, right? Feeling in control, fully, like autonomous. So I said, I don't remember what I asked with this question. Oh, we have the World card and the Ten of Wands. With the Justice card, like this shedding of the old skin, something ending, the ending of a cycle, so that you can move into a space where you feel more balanced, like it's a new opportunity here. With this Four of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles can be look like modesty, right? Shrinking even. Maybe clinging to, I want to clarify this particular card. Yeah. Or maybe you are living modestly somewhere or in a situation here. And it's like trusting what is not known, where you can focus on your spirituality in secret, or your spiritual beliefs. I'm saying secret, but like we're in this hidden energy. Even if you had to manipulate the past a little bit, you have this new start, or this new beginning, or this new life that's being built with this Four of Wands, this home card energy. This new life, okay? Y'all, that's wild. It's reminding me, there was a young lady, I want to say she was from H-Town, actually. A young lady who just up and disappeared. And ultimately, like she was gone, I want to say like a year, a couple years before someone in her circle made it known that, oh, she had been talking to this guy and she said she was going to be with him. And it surfaced that I think her and her son, or she left her son. She may have left her son. I'm not sure. But she went and joined this man in the wilderness in Scotland or some, honey. And they actually had pictures because the authorities tracked her down. And she was saying she was this guru's wife. Well, she was like his wife in training, because he has a wife. So it's like her and the other lady and this guy. So she essentially joined a cult. And her family is like, never saw such a thing coming. It feels like that. But I'm telling you, Spirit told me 3 times in a row, she is in Texas. She is in Texas. So I don't feel like she's traveled or taken a flight or anything like that. She is local to the state, at least. So yeah. So I did ask Spirit. So like, either I asked, who was she with? Or what's at the heart? What's at the, like, is there like somebody who's responsible for this? And these are the cards that I got. We got the Lovers. We got the Prince of Pentacles. And the Queen of Cups. Take that as you will. And then I asked about the relationship, right? Because I'd seen some things like, no, they had a great relationship, or they're such a wonderful family. And I mean, that may well be true, but everything's great until it's not, right? So I was like, let me get a past, present, and future perspective here, right? Or past, present, and outcome. So in the past here, this was, or appeared to be, a balanced and blessed union, because we have the cornucopia here with this thinking man. The thinking man can be that King of Pentacles energy, or King of Swords energy. Someone who may be kind of grounded, teacher of sorts. Could be controlling sometimes, right? But there was something abundant about the connection. And then the more recent energy, the present energy, there appears to have been like some question around, is this a happy dynamic? Do I feel fulfilled? Or is there a different situation that would be more fulfilling? This guardian at the gate, this is someone who feels trapped or stuck or paralyzed or held back from their optimum blessing. But this is someone who has the key or the ability to make the change. And so here we have this angel of strength. It's a 50, so it's a 5. Change or conflict here. Maybe even 2 loss. But someone having the strength of the courage, Leo energy, strength of the courage to make a choice or decision where they had, you can go this route or you can go this route. And someone was at a crossroads or a bit of an impasse and had to make a choice or decision. And I feel like that was made. Goosies, let me show you lastly what I got. Reason why I said this and that can be true. So the first card out is the catfish card, social media, right? So y'all, this catfish card suggests that, I don't know if she talked to somebody online, if she met this person that way, or if that's just how they communicated. But whatever the case, someone presented themselves in a way that was not completely honest. We also have the blocked no contact card. We have this card of a chase, car or foot. And that could be something that occurred, right? For whatever reason. Or it could be that it was something that was intended to look that way, not positive. The divine intervention card. I did clarify this card, and this is just that energy that we talked about quite a bit of feeling like God is telling me to do this thing. God is telling me to make this move, right? Conspiracy, multiple people. And I did clarify that card, and it's not multiple like 3. It's like her and somebody else. Her and one somebody, right? It's not like a group of us are saying like, let's hurry up, let's make this happen for Ada. It's not that type of way. This abuse card, Spirit was like, keep this card in, but these abuses don't apply. It's like psychological or emotional abuse, but I didn't have that written on there. We also have a truth uncovered or revealed, stress or overwhelm. Now this particular card I struggled with, but I feel like it's been explained in the other cards. I feel like this was done in a way so that this would be the conclusion. I just saw 5505 on the clock. So this would be the conclusion or the assumption that's made. I'm pretty sure I hope y'all saw that card. We also have the strict card, which says that someone feels restricted by their family or the rules of their family, which could also be like appearances or expectations, right? With that perfection card in reverse. Look at it. We got the boyfriend card. Point blank period. We also got this card, self-defense. I kind of want to clarify that. But we also got anger and aggression. We also got the giver. So I feel like this is Ada or Ada's energy. And this could be in all of her partnerships. Or perhaps the one that she moved into. So the giver is typically the person who, did I say this already or I just said it in my head? I don't know. Is the person who tends to kind of overgive. In the codependent partnerships, there's the giver and the taker. There's somebody who kind of tends to do more than the other. She could have been that in her marriage even. Who knows? We also have intentional, right? Intentional. And then lastly, we got the stuck card. So when I clarify this card, it looks like, okay, I made a choice or decision. And even if the outcome looks a little different than what I expected, this is a choice that I'm going to have to stay in, deal with, or stay stuck to. But it didn't look like unhappiness from being stuck, right? Let me clarify this self-defense card, because that could be an energy of just fighting to live either the life or how you want to live, right? Let's clarify that. Sorry, I saw that. Self-defense. Again, what's that 5 of Swords? Ooh. Yeah, honey, Listen. So, you know, a lot of marriages, religious situations are like till death do us part, right? This may be the only way she felt like she was going to get away from a situation was to create this deception. Okay? The only way I was going to be able to close a door on something is somebody who feels like they had to move in silence, make this choice in silence, take this bold action for themselves, for their own good. Because something like what used to make me happy is no longer that. Is what was a previous wish fulfillment is no longer that. So here, this is someone who had a fear of fully either living the truth or giving their energy to who or what they wanted to. And it doesn't feel like fear of judgment. It could be fear of reaction, fear of being blocked in some way. It's like if I leave at this time under this guise, not only will this person not see it coming, I won't have to face any like backlash. Yeah. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm pretty sure I'm done because that was like 50 million decks. Yeah, we are through here. Yeah, I'm praying that they receive something that confirms or offers proof of life. And a desire to see things clearly from Ada, right? Whatever clarity looks like for her. All right? Pray, pray, pray for her. And whatever situation is for her highest good. Okay? Whew, I got a little sad right there. I hope this was helpful, guys. Bye-bye.